Well, hello everybody! How are you doing today? Are you having a good time? Slap! Are you having a fun time? Slap! Are you having a good, fun time today? Having all the stuff in the Hardleg way? Boom, 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 ba-dum, 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 boom. That's a little bonus tune for you. It's a pity I don't have like a remix community or anything. That would be neat, like the old little Game Grumps back in the day. I have enough silly songs, I think I could make it work. But yes, for the people watching on YouTube, today's music, we did all ska.
Hardleg, did you notice that you have over 9,000 gems? Good luck on the Crystrons.
Over 9,000! Thank you very much, // But yeah, we had we had Superman by Goldfinger, classic Tony Hawk song. We did Point/Counterpoint by Streetlight Manifesto, classic Hardleg favorite song. And Running Underwater by Pain, also known as the Jabberjaw ska song. When is your Highlander bout with MBT for the title of Joe? We already did that. We tied. We both got to keep Joe. I'm so sorry I spammed you on Blue Sky. You didn't spam me on Blue Sky, did you? I think you sent me 2 messages in the chat. 3? Oh, no, you did send multiples. Yeah, I haven't had a time to look into it yet. I'll post it. I was going to post it in the, what's it called? The Mirror Masters Discord to see what people thought of it. But someone else, like, right after I got your message, they made a bunch of changes to a deck, and I didn't want to be like, hey, ignore this person and check out this other person. The progress on Mirror Masters is very slow, so you'll have time. Rip in peace, Needle Fiber. You didn't even know its real name! Don't act like you miss it! It's Hauka Fibrax. Get it right! It was never Needle Fiber. That was not a real name. That was one possible interpretation of what the Japanese name could sound like. It was a fan translation. Exactly. Get this open real quick. I'm still eating lunch. Is Mirror Masters up on YouTube yet? No. I want to try it as a stream first, and then like if the stream goes well, I'll edit it and put it up on YouTube. You were the reason I wanted to play it and ended up taking top 300 at WCQ in North America. Nice. Good to know that I can inspire people to have a good time. Anyway, I don't know why I opened up Master Duel. We ain't using that shit today. Beep. Surprise. It's a new thing. Crystron beta, do. Cat Monarch. You just added me, but you didn't actually say anything. Version what, 12 now? Oh, I don't know. Opinion on the new board cosmetics in Master Duel. The fossil board is kind of mid. I have no strong feelings either way. It feels like I've been a while since I've said this, but I guess it's always important to remind people. I do not care, like, at all for aesthetics. Very few things are, like, I enjoy seeing them. There's not really, like, smells that I like or appearances. I don't think there's any archetype that I've played because I like the art. If I was not playing online, I would have default sleeves, default field. I would break down every single shiny and royal rare that I had. I would not bother with a mate. I would not bother with anything. None of that stuff matters to me in the slightest. I only do it because I'm an entertainer, you're watching the screen, and I want the screen to be something that's new and different and unique. Is the song good at least? I don't know. I like the, what was it? I think the only song, I like the Live Twin song. None of the other songs really stuck with me. And I'm not going to buy the field just to figure out the song. Actually, I wonder, let's see here. Do they have it up on YouTube? Master Duel Dino Field song. And the Evil Twin song is the first thing that comes up. Can I hear the background music on Master Duel? If I turn the music up? No, it's still just playing the same background stuff. The Master Duel soundtrack is amazing. It's pretty good. There's nothing I would listen to in my own time. But for a game soundtrack, it's pretty good. Master Duel Dino Field. Do we know what the song... Let me try... Master Duel Dino Field. Oh, The Lost World. No, I cannot find any information. If anyone else can find, like, a YouTube video that shows, like, what the music is, let me know and I'll check it out. Does it not have a preview in the shop? You can preview the aesthetics, but it doesn't play the music. Anyway, today we're relearning Crystrons. Which is one of my favorite decks of all time, if you didn't know. I already know how most of it works. But for those of you who need a refresher on what Crystrons used to do, here's the Hardleg version of Crystrons 101. Here, let me make myself smaller real quick. So you got a whole bunch of non-tuners. Rosenix, Prezordal, Theistvern, Smyger. All of these have roughly the same effect. Target a face-up card you control. You can't summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for Machine Synchros. Also, destroy that card, and if you do, summon a Crystron tuner from your deck. All of the non-tuners except for Sulfefnir have that same effect. So target one card, destroy it, summon a tuner. The tuners say during your opponent's main or battle phase, quick effect, target a non-tuner in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated, then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon a Machine Synchro using only that monster and this card. The synchro materials are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. So, let's say for instance, you get Turtle and something else on the field. Turtle can pop something else. Or no, you just get Turtle on the field. Yeah, because it could target one face-up card you control. So Turtle used to be like a starter, because you could get Turtle, Turtle pops itself, and then summons Citri. And then during your opponent's turn, Citri reaches into the graveyard, grabs the Turtle back, and makes Quandax. Quandax is a machine synchro. Once per chain, during your opponent's main or battle phase, you can immediately synchro summon one synchro monster, using this card and other cards you control. So basically, it was quick synchro during your opponent's turn. They locked you into machines during your turn, and the tuners could only make machines, but what you would always do is make Quandax, and then Quandax doesn't have any restrictions. So a big play back in the day would be like... And the neat thing about Crystrons, at least for me, is because to most people... What the heck? Okay, there we go. To most people, the Crystron end board was completely indecipherable because this was a time when decks were a lot more simple. So what you would end on, right, is like, you would have like a Theistvern on the field and a Citri. And they'd be like, okay, this doesn't do anything on the opponent's turn. This can synchro, but you're limited to machine synchros. I don't know what you could do. And then you'd use this, you'd make Quandax, then Quandax plus Theistvern, you've got 4, 5, 6, 7. You make Black Rose Dragon during your opponent's turn, and you blow up their entire field. Did you make Phoenix before? Not often, but you could. So that was the basic idea. The tuners synchro during your opponent's turn. If you're curious about the other tuners, they had two other ones. You had Quan, which no one ever used, or very rarely used, and it's the same thing as Citri, except during your opponent's main or battle phase, special summon a non-tuner from your hand, immediately synchro summon a machine. And then you had Rion. During your opponent's main or battle phase, target a banished non-tuner, special summon it, its effects are negated, then synchro summon a machine, but the materials go back into the deck. So basically you had 3 different tuners, 3 different levels. This one synchroed with the hand, this one with the graveyard, this one with the banished. You never used, like, in theory, right? Because the stuff you use with Quan would go to the graveyard, and the stuff you used with Citri would be banished, you could, like, use Quan, then use the same card with Citri, then use the same one with Rion. But realistically, that very rarely happened. Mostly because you never played Quan. But you did go between these two quite often. Because here's the other thing. In addition to all of these being able to summon the tuner from the deck, they all have effects that activate when you banish them from the graveyard. This is banish this from a graveyard, add a Crystron from your deck to your hand, a Crystron monster. Banish from the graveyard, add a Crystron spell trap. Banish from the graveyard, special summon a Crystron from your hand. And this one made a level 1 token. And so, like, Foolish Burial is a starter in this deck, because you send Theistvern, you banish it, it summons anything. Like, you get a Rion, and then Rion can synchro with the Theistvern. Goaty do way better than old Crystrons, in some ways. Goaties are definitely easier, and their boss monsters are better, but the problem with Goaties is that you are locked exclusively into Fish with all of their effects. You can't really make anything but the Goaty cards on your opponent's turn. So your toolbox with Goaty is limited to banish one card, banish the whole field. Whereas with Crystron, you could do a whole lot of interesting stuff. You could basically make anything. one of the things I like to do with previous builds was make Trishula during the opponent's turn. So you get one from field, hand, and graveyard. And the Whale Force! Yeah, you can make Whale Force in this deck too. I also believe, I made this guy. When this is synchroed, special summon a Karakuri from your deck. If the battle position of a Karakuri is changed, target a card and banish it. So I was just doing Goaty stuff before Goaty. Because you would summon, there's one of them, where is it at? It's like the tuner. This guy. When this card is normal or special summoned, select one monster on the field, change its battle position. So you'd summon it and attack, it changed itself. Like you'd make this, then it would summon this from the deck. This would change its battle position. Then you could banish something. What if there's someone out there named Crystron? Always possible. So that was Crystron's number 1. Fairly simple. And the only thing they used to have worth getting as far as spell traps was Crystron Impact, which is just target a banished Crystron and special summon it. To be fair, this was really, really good, because again, what you need to do is set up the stuff on your opponent's turn so that you can synchro. And oftentimes what you do, right, is like, you'd end on a Rion, you'd end on like a Smyger banished, you'd banish Smyger to get the impact, and then the impact could bring it back. So they'd be looking at your field, and even if they kind of understood Crystrons, they're like, okay, they have the levels to make a 4, but they don't have anything else, and then you'd summon something else and do it. Then they released Tauka Fibrax. Any 2 monsters, including a tuner, if it's link summoned, special summon a level 3 or lower tuner from your hand or deck in defense position. So you just immediately get either one of these. During your opponent's main or battle phase, you can banish this, special summon a tuner synchro from your extra deck. It's treated as a synchro summon. This is a tuner synchro. So you've got a 1-card way to get into this that banishes itself, so you could bring it back with Crystron Impact and then do it again. You could do all sorts of crazy shit with this. Now you're making multiple synchros on your opponent's turn. Hey. Hi. But now, chat, it's one of the things I've always said. So this card can banish it to add a Crystron spell trap from your deck to your hand. Which was always weird, because they had this trap, they had this other trap that was absolutely terrible, and they had this, Crystallic Potential, which is not a Crystron card, and cannot be searched, which means it's useless even if it had a good effect, which it doesn't. So there was no Crystron spell. There were 2 Crystron traps and a Crystallic card. But now, chat, now we have a honest-to-God Crystron spell. And most importantly, it's a continuous spell. Which means, if you have this, and you have any Crystron, you can target this, destroy it, and then summon a tuner from the deck without having to give up your monster. So this could honestly say nothing. It could just be a Crystron spell that's continuous and says, like, you can activate this, and it would already be good, it would already be playable in the deck, just by virtue of being a spell that has the name Crystron and the little infinity symbol in the corner. But this does more than that. When this card is activated, add a Crystron from your deck to your hand except another copy of itself. It searches everything. The first time a Crystron would be destroyed by battle, it is not. Which is one of the weaknesses they had. Because, you know, you would set up, you would put all these things on, and kind of like IP Masquerena, the biggest threat would be if they could normal summon something that could just beat over your tuner before you could synchro. Like, if they don't commit anything, then you really don't want a Black Rose. So they just attack over it, and then they do everything in main phase too. But that's not all. You can banish this from your graveyard, target one Crystron in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. You can only activate one inclusion per turn. So they gave it a graveyard effect that special summons, that puts more stuff on the field. Oh, I guess I completely forgot. So, again, I should mention, Crystron's gone through a lot of changes, a lot of new stuff. The thing I talked about earlier, Angel Crab, thank you for the $5.
So I must lurk, but I still have to pay the lefty tax.
I tip my hat in your direction. So, like, version 1 was just this, and it was, you made one synchro. And then they added Solfefnir. This came later, and this is the only non-tuner that doesn't follow the same effect as the other ones. This says if it's in your hand or graveyard, discard a Crystron, accept itself, summon it, destroy one card you control, and then if this card on the field is destroyed, special summon a Crystron from your deck in defense position. This thing alone changed the Crystron deck from, like, just okay to, like, being able to make multiple synchros on the opponent's turn to being rogue viable. Because now Foolish Burial, like, before you would have Foolish Burial, you'd send Thystefern, you'd grab, like, a turtle and you'd normal summon it. Now you send this, you discard the Thystefern, summon itself, pop itself, get any Crystron from the deck, then banish the Thystefern to get another one, then normal summon. So it allowed you to have, like, 4 monsters on the field at the start of your opponent's turn and do so much stuff. And because it doesn't matter if it's in the hand or the graveyard, stuff like Scrap Recycler and Mathematician were really good. Lined up with levels and everything. And yeah, so we've got those. And then this is the third wave. We've got this. We've got a new tuner, who seems to be an upgrade of Quan, it looks like. Where is Quan? There we go. Yeah, we got Quan. And then Tristalos. He's just got more shiny. He's reaching. He's kind of doing the Hauka Fibrax. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you could special summon a Crystron from your deck, except for Tristalos. Then immediately synchro summon a machine synchro using the cards you control, including that monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy one synchro you control, and if you do, special summon 2 Crystrons from the deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for machine monsters. So they completed the trifecta. You know, we had one that summoned from the hand, one that summoned from the graveyard, one that summoned from banished. Now we have one that summons from the deck and immediately synchros. But only if your opponent activates something. So it's not really a starter, but it's one of those things you can normal summon, and then if your opponent disrupts any of your plays, you get to make a bonus play. And then the graveyard effect. Destroy one synchro you control, special summon 2 Crystrons. So, you can use each effect. Gotcha. So it doesn't matter what you make. You can make... I mean, you can't make this one because it takes 2 synchros, and you can't make this because it takes 2 tuners. Oh, you can. Using monsters you control, including that monster. So if you already have another tuner, you can make Quarian Gondrax, which is fun to say. But the neat thing, right, is that both of these littler ones that you could easily make with just this and like any other monster, you know, you want to make, you have a 3 here. You have a lot of 3s you would like to get in the graveyard that will help you search. You put out Tristalos, they imperm you or whatever. You can grab Thystefern, you can make Amortrix, Amatrix, fun to synchro during your opponent's turn. Just as a little like sneaky thing. It's when it's synchro summoned, changed all monsters your opponent controls to defense position. So if you do this in the battle phase, they can't attack. Not great, but it's something. If the synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, target a Crystron in your graveyard, except a synchro, and special summon it. Sadly, no one plays Amatrix. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is like a secret tech, or maybe there's something better, but the way I see it, it's like, okay, Tristalos, grab Theistfern, make Amatrix, then use the second effect, destroy the Amatrix, summon 2 Crystrons out of the graveyard so you can make a different play, and then this effect will trigger so that you can get a 3rd Crystron and summon it as well. Although you're locked into machines, but again, during your turn. It's the secret tech to save you from Tempai OTK. If they were still a problem. So I don't know how many of these you would play. They also gave us another non-tuner level 5. Looks like Solfefnir, but he's got some growths. Maybe he's combined with Tristalos. Which, by the way, what was it? I had some people I was asking... I asked in the Discord, like, what kind of special prop or item should I get for this? You know, if you missed the Argo Stars, I got the bat, because there's the girl with the bat, and they're, like, athletes and stuff like that. And there were a couple people who were like, oh, you gotta get some, like, robot stuff, or get, like, a Gundam, or, like, a mech suit. Because I guess they hadn't looked too closely, but they were just like, yeah, this looks kind of like a Gundam. If you ignore the fact that it's, like, got a big dragon head. But the Crystrons, they're not people in machines. They are chemicals. Specifically, they're quartz. Different types of quartz. So, Smyger is Smoky Quartz, SM, and it's a tiger. Theistvern is a wyvern that is amethyst. An amethyst wyvern, a Theistvern. Citri is citrine, which is a type of yellow quartz. So they're crystals, yeah. They're crystals, and crystals can, like, morph and mix together and make different hybrids and stuff like that. That's what these are. Like, Quandax is, because it's a level 4, right? It's Rion, who you can see is the blue crit, like the clear quartz, and the smoky quartz. And you get Tiger's Eye, it's called, which is kind of like something in between the smoky quartz and the clear quartz. But it's not like Rion is inside the tiger. You can see elements of the tiger's colors and everything, but they have fused together. It's gem fusion. It's Gem Knights, but synchro. You have me doing my own masochist. Generator Goblin Bikers. Sounds like a fun time. Steven Universe. Could dress like a New Age crystal healer. I suppose I could. Christian, you just replace Critter with a Steven Universe. We are the Crystal Gems, and we'll never give up. Yeah, and Amatrix, you could see, is you got the purple from the Amethyst, and you've got the Citri in the center. 5, 3 plus 2. Quarian Gondrax, they got a little bit of everything. Mr. Fam Squad, thank you for the prime hype. Yeah, so I could do that. Maybe we'll have a poll. Actually, let's do... So, there's basically 3 ideas I thought of. Well, I guess I thought of 2 ideas and you just put 1. So one is the Steven Universe. We get the Crystal Gem plushie or something. We put it over here in the corner. We have that. The second option is I just buy some crystals. You can buy healing quartz crystals, especially in necklace form on Amazon. They're only about $8. So I could spend like $30 and just get like an amethyst and a citrine and a smoky quartz. And then just have like every stream I add another necklace, another color to it. Yeah, they're cheap because they're a scam. You could get a geode. What was the OCG name for Crystrons? I don't know. That sounds kind of cool. And then the third thing someone suggested is because they're kind of like, they're chemicals, they're geology or whatever, I should just get like a lab coat, maybe like a geologist, U.S. geologist surveyor hat. Why not both? Because I'm not made of money. You could call the necklaces the Crystron gems. Yeah. So let's have a little poll here, chat. What prop do I get? Steven Universe plush. Quartz necklaces. Or geologist cosplay. We'll put 5 minutes on the clock. Vote now on your phones. Also, thank you, the Dragon Bread, for the Prime hype. And I guess I'll remind people, you know, if you've got Amazon Prime and you haven't used your Prime yet, it's almost the end of the month. I mean, you might as well. I mean, it gives me $2 extra. Don't cost you anything. I'd appreciate $2 extra. Steven Universe would be for Gem Knights. Okay. So let's read the rest of these. I keep getting distracted. Sulfador. This is the new one. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, target a Crystron you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except machines. If this card is normal or special summoned, send up to 2 Crystron cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard. Alright. So it's not like Sulfefnir in that it gets everything, but it might as well get everything. So they're both level 5s. They're both have to be in the hand or graveyard, which is good. It means you can discard one for the other. This one you have to target a Crystron on the field and destroy it. It gets itself, but then when it does, it Foolish Burials both of these. So you can just like search a spell in a trap. That guy's just a custom card. 2 level 5 machines, I wonder what you could do with that. Yeah, this is one of the few things, I haven't looked up a whole lot about these, but just in seeing people face them in like 10-minute testings, I know that you can like, 2 level 5 machines make Nova, you make Infinity. You could do this previously, but you rarely did because you only had 1 level 5 unless you made Amatrix. But now it's not too difficult to make these 2 and then have a negate for the rest of your plays. In addition, we have a new trap. Crystron Cluster. Crystrons cannot be banished. Cards you control. Okay. Very important. So the ones in my graveyard can still be banished, but the ones I control can't be. Slight protection. You can target 1 face-up card on the field, or you can target 2 if you control a Crystron Synchro monster. Shuffle 1 Crystron from your graveyard or banishment into the deck, and if you do, destroy the targeted cards. That's a pop, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe even 2 pops if we get a Synchro on board. And recycling? Why not? And that just leaves us with our last Synchro, which I remember when I read this, I was like disappointed because it doesn't do anything when it's like summoned on the opponent's turn. But it's like big combo piece, I believe. So generic level 7, which means basically either of your level 5s and then either of your level 2s. Or if you get Rion plus... No, that's not enough. Rion plus Rosenix, which we probably aren't playing anymore. All monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, add a Crystron card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. If this synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon a Crystron from your graveyard or banishment. Yeah, so you make it, it gets 2 things. So basically, if I'm understanding right, what the idea is that you make this, it might help you extend your combos because it gets something back. You can use it for Sulfador and then get 2 more cards. But more importantly, you can leave it on the field and Crystron cluster and then pop 1 card your opponent controls and this, and then get like another card and then mess up your synchro summons and stuff like that. Not once per turn. I see, I see. So there's the new Crystron cards. And I could sit down here and like try to make my own version of the deck, but like I feel like I already know the Crystron cards for the most part. I'm curious to see what other people have done with them. So now we're going to do the part of the stream. Oh, our 5 minutes is up, and it looks like the quartz necklaces have won. 50%. 8% wanted Steven Universe, 42 wanted the Geology. You can play very well under Droll and Lockbird. Good to know. Maybe I'll main deck it. But yeah, the thing we're doing next is research, which means basically just sitting down for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, watching a whole bunch of deck profiles on Crystron, and seeing how other people have built it, what other people have done. I do have some of my own ideas, but I want to see if people have come up with better stuff first. And then I can iterate on their designs. I'm going to incorporate all of their designs into my plans. Now, that being said, if you're watching on YouTube, I don't like to re-upload a video that's just me sitting there looking at someone else's YouTube video. That feels kind of scummy. Even like reaction content I'm kind of iffy about, but I'm not super reacting to it. I'm mostly just kind of like absorbing the information. So as such, if you're wondering why this video is like half the length of a normal VOD archive, it's because I cut all that stuff out. So bye-bye for now. I'll be back in a second. I've been looking up Centurion support, and apparently Gravity Collapse and the Synchro Spell Traps are recommended. Gravity Collapse. That sounds familiar. The Counter Trap. When your opponent would summon a monster, send 1 face-up synchro to the graveyard, negate it. I would just play like a Solemn if you need a Counter Trap. Why send a card to the graveyard when you could not? And the Synchron Spell Traps? I don't think so. Where are you looking up this information at? Least used cards. Barone? Why are these budget cards? Yugapedia? Where's the actual deck list? Droll, danger level 4 out of 4, DD Crow, Dark Ruler no more, Forbidden Droplet, Fuelos. Yeah, I would say if you're looking up decks, Yugapedia can be fine for trying to find like obscure synergies. especially if you're trying to build like a new type of deck, like something more experimental. But in the case of something like Centurion, where it's been rogue playable in the TCG and the OCG and Master Duel, and it's been around for months, and there's like tons of people who have played it, I would suggest doing what I'm doing now and looking it up on Master Duel to try to find deck lists, rather than Yugapedia. Or, what was it? YGO Pro Deck has some decent deck lists if you can sort by like tournament results. Maxi is not a danger for the deck. It is. But it has an off-ramp in the form of Tristalos. And the trap. Interesting. Just playing two of the Horus cards. Fairly standard. They're the first one I've seen playing this. Okay. At this point, we're just going to kind of like look through the extra decks and like compare. And it looks like, as far as like the Crystron package, everyone's playing exactly the same. Gravity. Okay, let me read the... Your opponent would special summon a monster, send a synchro you control, negate the summon if you do destroy that monster, and your opponent cannot summon a monster until the end of the turn. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that does stop them. Here's the thing. I guess I'll put it down. Like, is this a brutal, essentially, like, lingering floodgate that can stop the opponent? Yes. Is it necessarily the best way to play something like Centurion? Well, Centurion, if you rely on Pure, can already make 2 Cosmic Blazar Dragons with their own counter trap or their other trap in the back row as protection. That by itself is as good as this, probably. You're rarely going to find an opponent that can play through all of that. Especially because the Cosmic Blazar can negate summons. This is theoretically like a cheaper way to do that, because you only have to make 1 synchro and then you give it up and you activate this. But how are you getting to this? Is there some way to search Gravity Collapse? Or are you just hoping that you draw it? And if you do, you pivot what you're trying to do? Because basically what you would be doing is you're getting a more guaranteed and simple way to win the game at the cost of consistency. Because you won't always be able to do this. But I guess if you do draw it, it's like, well, they can't ash it or whatever. It plays around hand traps. The other thing to consider is that if you did play hand traps, if you didn't play this, you'd be playing hand traps or extenders. And if you're going second, that's what you need. You either need hand traps to stop your opponent so that you get a chance to play, or you need extenders to play... to play through the disruption they have. The problem with a card like this is that while it is theoretically better going first if you draw it, if you go second, if you lose the coin toss, it does nothing. Like, even if you manage to go second and make a synchro monster and set this, it's likely they already have some monsters on the field, and stopping them from going off on turn 2 wouldn't be nearly as effective as stopping them turn 1. Yeah, I think if you were in the TCG where you had side decks and you could be fairly certain you were going first, this might be a really fun and cheeky thing to side going when you know you're going first. especially if you have access to draw cards that might be able to make sure you can get to this. So that's what I would say. It's not as terrible as I immediately thought, but it runs into the thing of like planning for your best situation with cards that only help you when you're already in a good situation. Right? People are playing right and left hand and spellcaster slop. I wouldn't even know what a spellcaster slop deck looks like. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, if you just play extenders, then, like, if you go first and you get your extenders, then you can make Blazar and, like, search traps and get other stuff. If you go second, then you can play through Disruption and maybe make your way to Legatia or whatever. That trap is like, if you go first and you get it, you can do the combo. If you go second and you get it, it's a dead card in hand. You're playing at a handicap where now you have to break their board, but you have one useless card that doesn't do anything. That's why cards like Imperm are so played. Why, of all the hand traps, Imperm is probably the one that most needs to be banned. But also, like, I feel like almost everyone kind of like likes Imperm. It's not like Maxi where it's just annoying because it never feels like it completely ends your turn. It's just like, yeah, my opponent used a 1-for-1 negation. It didn't destroy though, so I can still use the stuff on the field. But it's like, you know, if you go first, you set Imperm, and then you have a negate. If you go second, it's a hand trap, and you stop your opponent. Same thing with why Forbidden Droplet is so good. Because it's a quick play, you can use it going second to break boards. You can use it going first to, not use it, but you can set it going first and have disruption on your opponent's turn. The green Crystron isn't worth running over more non-engine. I guess we'll see. So far, everyone seems to be running one. Okay, so in order for this to work, you do have to play 5 Garnets and an Earth Machine engine that locks you out of some stuff. And you don't get to play... You no longer get to play 3 Forbidden Droplet. You no longer get to play Imperm. You no longer get to play Ash. You no longer get to play Called By, but you can make Earth Machines. The middle, the best place. I mean, it actually might be. I respect this deck. It's interesting. It just feels like it's solving a problem that doesn't exist. It's one of the things I used to talk about back when I played a lot more like rogue stuff or whatever, where people would be like, oh, like, well, I have very distinct memories of back in Orchest format where any 2 cards could make Nightmare Mermaid and then Mermaid could go into full Orchest combo, where people would be like, oh, you should check out my Morphtronic deck. It's like unstoppable. I've made it good in the modern age. And then they would just put 2 Morphtronics on the field and make Nightmare Mermaid and do full Orchest combo. I'm like, this is just an Orchest deck, but worse. And this does just like feel like if you wanted to play Earth Machine, you should play Earth Machine. This doesn't feel like you're making Earth Machine better or more consistent. Maybe I'm wrong. Or what was it? It's not even just that. It's like, if you want to play Earth Machine, I feel like there are better ways to do it without including all the Crystron stuff. And if you wanted to play Crystrons, there are better ways to do that without the Earth Machine stuff. Let me look back at the thing they sent, the exact timestamp. You look at this end board. Now, the one reason you would maybe want to change the end board and add some new stuff in here is, let's say, for example, my Goblin Biker deck. Goblin Biker deck, one of the big problems was that it only ever put up monster negate, so if someone had like a Forbidden Droplet, or even a Raigeki, or a Dark Hole or whatever, it would completely out the board because I had no spell traps. If you had a variant of Goblin Biker that allowed you to end on like a spell trap negate, even if it lowered your ceiling, it might be worth it to solve the problem of consolidating too much of your monster effects onto the board. Right now, what Crystron ends on is usually a spell trap negate in the form of Dawn Dragster, triple monster removal with Quarian Gondrax, and the trap that pops 2 stuff. What it ends on now instead is, oh yeah, and the Omni negate from CDI. So they still have the Omni negate from CDI, but instead of the trap and the pop, they have a floodgate for the graveyard, and I guess I was going to say they get another pop. A pop, but in monster form, except they immediately fire off the Dora to make the, what's it called? To make the Arise Heart immune to card effects. So, like, they fire off the Dora, so basically what you're ending on is Arise Heart plus CDI plus Dawn Dragster. Is it better to end on CDI, or is it better to end on Arise Heart than it is to end on Quarian Gondrax? Maybe? Depending on the format. I guess if, like, what you're fighting is almost exclusively Fiendsmith, then, like, yeah, floodgating them out of everything would probably be better. But I think you're less likely to end on all this if you're against a Fiendsmith deck, because they're going to have a million hand traps. And you have so many, like, bricks and so many, like, little combo things you need to do to get to this point that can be disrupted. Arise Heart is a machine. Even Mermail and Snake Eye need the graveyard, yeah. What is the game plan with Crystrons? Make a whole bunch of stuff on turn. Here's what I'm saying with this is you're getting a slightly better, it's almost exactly like what someone was saying before with the what are they called? Centurion. They had that Centurion like trap card where they're like, if we play this, we lock the opponent out of playing. This is the same thing. If you go first and you get the whole combo off, you do just win automatically. You don't even have to worry about activating your stuff at the right time because you've made a floodgate that is going to shut down Snake Eye and Fiendsmith and whatever from playing. But in order to do that, you have to remove so many hand traps and extenders from your deck that you severely weaken yourself going second. And also, the chance that you'll get to this in the first place is lower because you're not playing any way to stop your opponent's hand traps, and your combo is a lot more fragile. Slightly increased ceiling for much lower consistency and significantly lower go second potential. When did Crystron become an Ixie deck? They usually just make this one. Dang, 131? That's like usually how many I do. Only 19 losses? Damn. That's like crazy. Oh, that's going first. Yeah, this is on par. Usually in my ladder climbs, I do between 100 and 150 games, depending on how long it takes me to play each, like, how long-winded my deck is. Let's see if we can calculate. Oh, they have the win-loss ratio. 77%. Wait. That doesn't make sense, does it? 77% plus 54%? That's 131. You didn't calculate your percentage right. That's not quite right. The win ratio is 59%? Okay. $77 is going first. No, because they have the win-loss, they have the going first, going second down at the bottom. Yeah, 77 is the number of total wins. I don't know why they wrote it as a percent or where they got that decimal from. Yeah, so it's 77 wins total, 54 losses total, which gives them a win rate of 66%. I think that's what someone said. That seemed about right. 59%. Yeah, so that's on par with, like, I think most of the time when I get a deck to master, it's been around like 60 to like 62% at most. They just align the table poorly. Gotta make a spreadsheet a little bit better. Those are separate numbers. Oh, okay. For some reason, I just imagined there was a decimal. I thought it was like 77.59%. But no, it's 77 total, 59% win rate. Gotcha. Okay. They just need more space between those two. $59.41. Yeah, that adds up a little bit better. But yeah, that's like a pretty standard win rate. I think the highest I've had for a deck that started in Diamond was Snake Eyes. Actually, I'm curious real quick right now, chat. Let's go ahead, Hardleg, Snake Eyes. Master 1 is the highest rank on Master Duel's competitive ladder, and achieving that rank is not an easy task, unless you use the most broken cards in the game. But anyway, now that it's the end of the month and the end of the episode, let's take a moment to look back over our statistics for March of 2024. I ended up playing 127 duels with Snake Eyes and made it to Master. Yeah, 67%. This was the highest win rate of any deck that started in Diamond. Emperor Stove, welcome, rating with a party of 6. We're just doing a little comparison here. That's where was it? Yeah, we were looking at someone else who did apparently their own like little ladder climb with Crystrons. They played 131 duels and they had a 59% win rate, which is about where most of my decks run. Snake Eyes was like exceptionally easy. It was like the fastest I've ever gotten into Master 1. About the same number of duels, just a higher win rate. Did Scareclaw not have a huge win rate as well? Remember, this one was 67% win rate. Master 1 is the highest. Anyway, it's the end of the month and the end of the episode, which means it's time to look over our statistics for November 2023. I ended up playing 117 duels with Scareclaw and made it. Yeah, it's the same. They're both 67, right? And this was just like slightly less duels. Scareclaw, surprisingly effective. Now, the weird thing, or I guess not the weird thing, but one of the funny things that kind of does stuff weird is, what's the Sleepy Girl deck name again? Hardleg Sleepy. There we go. That's all I needed to know. Emperor Stove, thank you for the 48 months.
Isn't easy. These days it takes a lot of energy.
I ended up playing just 96 duels with Nemlaria and made it from Bronze 5 to Diamond 5. Yeah. Nemlaria. Significantly fewer duels, extremely high win rate. 72%. But that's because I didn't lose a game between bronze and gold. And it was the same thing with the Argo Stars. The Argo Stars have a much higher than average win rate than even the Snake Eyes, because going through bronze and silver gave me a whole bunch of wins. I believe, though, their win rate was only 68%, so it's just slightly higher than Snake Eyes. What was the worst percent? I think it was Goblins. Goblin Bikers. Goblin Bikers, pretty close. I know, what was the other one? Galaxy Eyes? Galaxy Eyes was the other one that got, like, hard stuck. Let me look real quick. Hardleg Galaxy. Diamond Tier 1 is the highest rank on Master Duel's competitive ladder. And with the right deck and a bit of luck, just about... Welcome to the end screen. This is where I take a moment to be super nerdy and look over all the statistics for this month's episode, among other things. Learn White Forest? I already did. 3 duels with Galaxy Eyes over the course of... Yeah. Okay, Galaxy Eyes has the worst win rate. I'm pretty sure, I know what's it's called, Cosmo wasn't that high either, but Galaxy Eyes was really bad. I can't. I only got 100 duel. I didn't want to duel that much with that. Are you willing to learn a bad deck? Yes. I learn bad decks all the time. I don't usually do them on the ladder climbs because they don't make for very interesting episodes. Twice a year. I'm curious to see how the Argo Stars one does. If that one does as well as the Nemlaria one, then I might bump it up to like 4 times a year. Because, you know, I try to refrain from doing this, because it always feels weird. But, the ladder climb, not been doing really good lately. Where is the ladder climb? There it is. If you just look like... Let's look at this time last year. What was the June 2024? Yeah. June was like around like Memento, almost 100,000. Volcanic, 160,000. Gold Pride, 100,000. Snake Eyes, 130. This is the best video of all time, so like that one don't count. But like, you could see all of these things were getting to like over 100,000 for the most part. Even Paleozoic was doing, and then for some reason, after the Goaty episode, Goaty only got to 88, and then Ancient Gears got to 80, and then Ritual Beast is like half that. The Sleepy Girl's back up to 100k, but like White Forest, Melodious, Magical Musketeers, Blue Eyes, Goblin Bikers, these are all like struggling to reach 50k. Which is, what was it? In general, a sign that you've got a really good series is if it gets more views than you have subscribers. That means it's getting recommended outside of your audience and new people are seeing it. That's what you want to see. You know you've got a successful series when more people are watching it than you have subs. And for like a year and a half, that's what Ladder Climb was. And then the last 6 months... 6 to 8 months, pretty much since Ancient Gears, It just hasn't really been anything except Nemeluria. I'm confused with the blue eyes. I would have assumed that would have been great. Me too. I wonder what changed. It's entirely possible that it doesn't matter what I do, that people are just losing interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or people have lost interest in me. Maybe I've just reached the maximum number of people that, like, my particular brand can reach. Is Ladder Climb too woke? I mean, meta? Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because if you recall, the Goatee was the one where I tried Goatees, and just like Galaxy Eyes and Cosmo beforehand, this was a deck that just got hard stuck. I think it got a 49% win rate, or like an exactly 50%. I made a bunch of different versions of this and could not get anywhere. And so we once again reached this crossroads where it was like, this was a miserable experience. It was hard to make it fun and entertaining. And there's two roads we could go with it. And the roads were option one, lean more into the meta by making sure that the decks that get voted for Ladder Climb have like rogue viability. Or option two, start going from like bronze and seeing if I can climb up. Or if not bronze, at least like alternate between 2 or 3 accounts so that I was decaying more and I would have more room to grow. That way I wouldn't be starting every single month in Diamond and just slamming my head against the wall with a deck that couldn't make it through Diamond. You're washed up, time to rug pull crypto. And in the end, after talking through with a lot of the patrons and having a poll, most people agreed that the better route would be to try to go more meta with it, to try to be more competitive and limit the number of decks we can play. And I was like, okay, but I do want to try starting from bronze, so we came up with the Jankmas model. And so far, since I switched to being more competitive decks, my views have been a lot lower. Ancient Gears is still relatively high, but like Crystal Beast, Pitiful, White Forest, Melodious. Some people tuned in, like this got slightly more, but as soon as they realized it was Fiendsmith in Disguise, didn't go for it. Didn't go for Blue Eyes, didn't even go for Goblin Bikers. And so it's really going to be interesting. If Argo Stars ends up taking off like the Sleepy Girl deck did, then it'll basically prove that we were wrong in assuming that people want competitive content. That it would be much better to start lower on the ladder and use more janky decks. And I am perfectly fine with that. So meta equals bad, got it. Crystron might pop back up because you're known for it. Yeah. Hard to say, hard to leg. I think we as the patrons were completely wrong. Entirely possible. It's like, whatchamacallit. I forget the guy's name. There's like some famous Malcolm Gladwell, I think it was. Kind of a pseudo-scientist, but he did like... He had this famous study where it was basically trying to determine if people actually even know what they want. Where it's like, he sat down a whole bunch of people who didn't drink coffee. And he's like, we want you to try some coffee. Now, if you were to describe what kind of coffee you would like, what would you want to try? And they're like, I think I want a rich dark roast. You know, really, really savor the coffee flavor. And so he brought out a bunch of rich dark roast coffee, and they hated it. And then he tried the experiment again, where instead of asking people what they wanted, he just gave them an option of like, okay, here's a dark roast, and here's a really light roast with a lot of sweet. Here's a very like foamy, milky roast. And when you hear foamy, milky coffee, it doesn't sound good, but it tastes delicious. You know, that's how most people like their coffee light and sweet. If you ask actual, like, coffee drinkers. And so I think this might just be a case of that. Like, I asked people, would you rather see jank or competitive stuff? And they're like, I like seeing competitive. I like going against the better things. And maybe it turns out that's actually just not as fun as it is to just play Argo Stars and Bronze. I think it's worth it to look at deck lists of different archetypes and see which one get the most views. Possibly. Do you think it has anything to do with Master Duel itself? People have been talking about how it's been unwilling to kill decks and drop off. Yeah. Well, that's what I said earlier. It's entirely possible that it doesn't matter what I do, and the drop-off just has to do with Master Duel dropping off. Or it's entirely possible that Master Duel is doing good, and my format has just gotten stale. It's one of the unfortunate things about being an entertainer. You know, when you have a day job, you clock in and out. Like, if you work at McDonald's, it sucks. But, like, people don't get sick of McDonald's. It becomes part of their daily routine. They'll be like 80 years old. They'll still be coming in to get coffee or whatever. They'll be bringing their grandkids into McDonald's. But when you're an entertainer, you kind of constantly have to be trying new stuff or experimenting. Because even though people say they want more of the same, slowly people trickle out. I think I have a thing in Patreon where when people unsubscribe, they get to leave a message why. And the most common thing I see is just, yeah, I just don't watch the content anymore. Or I just fell out of interest with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has roughly the same amount of players it did last year. Okay. So yeah, it might just be the meta. It might just be me. Seeing funny stuff is more entertaining. We'll see. Again, it's going to be, that's why the Argo Stars ladder climb is going to be so important. Because it's going to be a real test of, like, if people come out in waves to see the Argo Stars, then I'm going to start doing a lot more jank stuff. Because we experimented with 6 months for the competitive stuff, and fewer people cared. For me, it's more entertaining to watch it live and interact with chat and you. Yeah, I mean, that's why I put this here and why I do the VODs and everything, too. But, you know, as cool as it is to have, like, 200 people here, you know, 30,000 people watch the videos, so a lot more people prefer the videos to seeing it live. I think Argo Stars will be a success. I think so, too, but I also thought Blue Eyes would be a success. Where's the deck? Okay. Speaking of which, we were looking at this, and it's Citri Turtle, 2 Tristalos, 3 Smiger, 1 Theist Fern. Oh, they're doing 2 Sulfefnir, 3 Sulfador. Most decks do 3 Sulfefnir, 2 Sulfador. So, you know, being very daring with this deck list. And then 3 Inclusion, 1 Cluster, 2 Askeletus, 1 Quarian Gondrax. Nothing exciting in the extra deck. Do I still have my old Crystron deck? Yeah, I saved it. Here's what it looked like last time we played it, chat. Triple Citri, 1 Turtle, 1 Scrap Recycler, 1 Karakuri Strategist Model 248 Nishipachi, 3 Smiger, 1 Theistvern. Huh. I thought we were on 3 Theistvern. 3 Ash, 3 Rosenix, 3 Scrap Raptor, 2 Fridge, 3 Sulfefnir, Foolish Burial, Fossil Dig, Scrapyard, Called By, Forbidden Droplet, Crystron Impact, evenly matched. Mr. Driller? I don't get it. Okay. It's not how you spell Crystron. We lost Hulk in 3 years, yeah. Two of this. I guess it depends how many of these we can get. Ash Bloss. Did I miss it? Okay. I do already have one each of those. I know I have a Dawn Dragster. Foolish. Go Nibiru. Nibiru feels really good in this format. Forbidden Droplet. Macabre for the lulz? No, I think we're fine. What? Cross out? Normally we don't open packs on this, but we don't need hardly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 30, I should know, 8, 16, 24, 240. Yeah. 240, so we have enough URs to just craft everything. But we do want to open some. I would play 3 I'm SETI. Yeah, so I guess let's just open some packs. I feel like opening some packs today, chat. You ever feel like just opening some packs? Do you ever get that pack opening steez? You know what I'm talking about? Got those gems just burning a hole in your pocket? Gotta make sure we write this down. Computer going so slow. Let's see. This is... Crystron time codes. Gems. At least 1K. Crafting packs makes me feel alive. I craft packs and then I die. Royal Mimighoul! Da 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 da. I guess we know what we're doing next month. Ha! Materiactor Critical. What's up, everybody? This is Materiactor Critical. Today I'm playing Master Duel. Let's do this shit. And then we got an Ishatos. Ryuge, Enva, and a Mimighoul Dragon. I feel like my Charlie impression's pretty good, you know. At least it's like... It's pretty good at old Charlie. New Charlie has a little bit more emotion to his voice. But definitely old Charlie. Clockwork Knight! Okay, there's one. Soul Fafnir, which I already have. I'm getting every Mimighoul card. Yeah, that's the Charlie voice is also, if you haven't checked out my audiobook for Legend of Lefty, I often talk, it's like a comedy fantasy novel, right? It's basically like the farmer goes on an adventure to save the world, except for the world doesn't need saving. Well, one of the big things about it is that, like, I always imagined Lefty, the main character, like, his name is Lefty because it doesn't seem like it should be, like, a hero's name. It doesn't sound like heroic, it's no Conan. It just sounds like a guy you meet down by the gas station. But that's the voice I do for him is the critical impression. He's got the like, a big selling point is that people often underestimate him because he shows up and then he's like, "Hi, I was wondering if you were going to eat that sandwich, because if not, I am very hungry and I would like to eat that sandwich." Lefty's the name of a man who works on your car. Yeah, there's a big moment in, like, the very first chapter. I think it's the first or second chapter, where he basically stumbles upon a bunch of guys picking on a much smaller guy. And it's like, for the first time in his life, he had an opportunity to be a hero. He realized what it meant to stand up for justice. He was full of righteous anger, and he walked right up to the gang of thugs and he said, "Hey, stop that." And nothing was ever the same. Well, I do need one of these. I didn't need one of those. I came back to Lefty, wanted a sandwich. I'm getting all the Mimighoul cards. Crystron cards? Nah. I'm playing Mimighoul this month. Yeah, it's, you know, I'm not the best at voices and whatever, but I've been practicing. I feel like I'm pretty good. Okay, I can break this down. There's no way I need two of these. Does Lefty summon Righty though? No. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! You're getting things confused. But yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to make it an audiobook. I'm, like, fairly good at voices. Granted, most of my other impressions don't make it in there. I've been told I do a pretty good Goofy. Oh, gosh, Mick. I don't know if we want to look into that. Hey, Sora. Turns out you're a Keyblade Master. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. But there's no character in the Legend of Lefty yet who has the Goofy voice. Kingdom Hearts reference. Yeah, that's what Goofy's from, right? That and the... What's the... How can you see into my eyes like open doors? Bleeding me down into my core, where I become so numb, without a soul. My spirit sleeping somewhere cold, until you find me there and lead it back home. Wake me up. Wake me up. Wake me up inside. I prefer the goofy yell to the like, whoa! You do a good Goofy. Would you voice my erotic dojin about him and his son? No, I don't think I'd... Well, I've seen that clip, and I don't know if it's from, like, an erotic thing, or if it's just some shitpost someone made. But they're like... It's like... What was it? Max sees Goofy coming out of, like, he, like, brings some woman home from the club. He's like, look, Dad, I don't want to think about you having sex. And he's like, listen here, Max. Your dad doesn't have sex. Your dad fucks. And he fucks hard. And you better get used to it, because that's just what happens. Or I'm sorry, he doesn't fuck, he fucks. Will Goofy say a swear? Let Goofy say a swear. Fuck. I knew Goofy was behind 9/11. And what's the other one? Curse you, Powerpuff Girls! You shall never defeat me! Not Mojo Jojo! The thing is, Mojo doesn't say a whole lot except for curse you, Powerpuff Girls, so there's not a lot of, like, voice lines. But I feel like I can do that one pretty well, although he hasn't stood the test of time. And then I can do old Frieza. Curse you, Saiyan! You've defeated me for the last time! I'll crush you like the pathetic bugs you are! You think you the drink, bitch? You ain't even the cup! Filthy monkey. You can't say that one anymore. Okay, let's do one more. The ocean dub of Frieza. You must die by my hand! Is this 5K? This is 4K. This is the last one I'm doing. See if we can get anything else. Hey, we got one inclusion. And I think those are the only, like, ones I've really practiced. Ooh, a shiny Quarian Gondrax. Do we keep that one? Super Saiyan? That's impossible! Brat! Royals or nothing. Stroke Frieza. It's everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or everyone in Dragon Ball Z. Someone shows up and like, it can't be! This is impossible! I'm the Prince of all Saiyans! Ryuge Rising. A third Varudris! I'm like on the edge of being able to do Vegeta. I feel like if I practiced, I could get Vegeta right, but it hurts my throat just to kind of do it. It's like, I don't really want to. Alright. Come on, Skeletus! A second shiny one. Now I got 2 shinies. Come on, Skeletus! There must be a combo with the third Varudris. So many URs. I'm doing well. Materiactor. Just what everyone wanted. Ryuge? I had no idea. Good for them. Glad they could figure that out during Pride Month. Order obtained. SR and UR. Dismantle selected cards. I don't know Mimighoul. It's my favorite archetype. I'll keep 1 shiny. I don't need the shiny Varudris, or even 2 Varudris. You don't need 3 of these. We'll see. I don't even need, like, UR or SR cards. How many giant Mimighouls? Your non-Mimighoul monsters can attack directly. If this card is Ixie summoned, add 1 Mimighoul from your deck to your hand. Okay. So probably, I haven't looked into Mimighoul, but I imagine 2. 2's probably good. Two giant, 1 throne. All right. Will we get a UR Tristaros? No. Or I meant a Royal. Royal Solfador? No. Royal Inclusion? No. Royal Skeletus? No. Yeah, I guess I get rid of one of these. We play 3... We play 3 King Sark, right? And then... I'm just gonna mess around. We've got 30 minutes left. I'm just gonna mess around in the solo mode a little bit, chat. I have a Royal Citri, Lucky Duck. I do think I am gonna bling out the rest of this. Like, why not? I've got so many points. I'm SETI is better than Sark. Is the field spell not worth it? Which one? The Crystron one? They don't even have one. Yeah, I like the Crystrons, how they look when they're shiny, because they're already kind of gems. We are the crystal gems, and we'll never do stuff. I never watch this show, and it'll never be enough. Oh god. Let's mess around a little bit. Did you poop your pants yet? Not yet. Crystallic Potential, the field spell? No. I don't think Crystallic Potential would be worth it, even if it was a Crystron card, but it's not. It's a Crystallic card. Oh, you guys want to learn the story of the Flame Vels? Flamebell, the Scarlet Warriors. This is a land enveloped by vapor and scorching heat. I'm clicking. The intense sultriness makes everything around shimmer, but further down the path, you can make out a buoyant-looking flame. Let it enter. Wow! What? What the heck? Where the heck did you come from? Since I've never seen you in these parts, maybe you're lost. Ha! Yeah, that's gotta be it. After all, hardly anyone comes all the way out here. Guess I ought to show you the way. Come on then, I'll tell you about us Flamebell Warriors in the meantime. Baby Frieza. I get higher up. Guess I ought to show you the way. Come on then, I'll tell you about us Flamebell Warriors in the meantime. Ah! SpongeBob, you gotta karate chop yourself in the throat to make it work. You arrive at the base of those who wield flame-infused scarlet techniques, the Flamebell Warriors. They have made major contributions in the fight against the worm invaders. First up, there's our leader and top warrior, Uruquazius. I know its name, shut up. Strictly speaking, we just like to call him our leader. It's not official. But you would understand why we do. He wields flames incredibly well, with intensity second to none. It has to be said, we're a pretty individualistic bunch, and we tend to just do what we like. Even so, it seems best to have someone who can lead the charge, and Uruquazius is definitely good at that. Then after him, Commando and Fiend are second in command. Unofficially, of course. Folks were saying Fiend wanted to be top dog, but I don't know about that. Anyway, the rest of us are pretty diverse. Some are draconic, others beast-like, and then there are some, like me, who resemble humans. Although we look different and we don't share the same type, We get along just fine. Ah, so the Flamevell are woke, I see. Those blasted worms aren't making our lives easy, though. They're pipsqueaks, but their huge numbers make them such a pain. I guess you could say we're getting burned out. But, you might have to start calling the Flamevell Ashvale instead. Ha ha! And to think, if not for those lousy worms, we probably could have conquered the whole continent by now. No denying it, right? It's pretty obvious. We Flamevells are the toughest around, no? Or do you disagree? Come on, tell me what you think. They added little animations for it. Loner? Do I have to play the loner? I have to play the loner. Okay, I know you came here for Crystrons, but we're learning Flameville instead. You know it's bad when they're like, okay, so if you get 4 cards and your opponent doesn't do anything. Oh, your opponent is doing something. Okay, if you get 4 cards and your opponent ends on a normal monster and an 800 attack, and you get Rekindling, then you could do stuff. Look, you can OTK with Flamevell. All you need is a 5-card combo, including Rekindling. Send Fire Dog to the graveyard. Whoa, 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 whoa! Synchro Summon Uru Quasios. Into the extra monster zone. And they're like, and then just ignore him because even though we made a whole summoning animation and he was mentioned in the story mode, he's actually better to just use as fodder. Get out of here, Fire RU. I mean, to be fair, as soon as they give Flamevell, like, a card that says, Search Rekindling, they probably become, like, not meta, but, like, rogue viable. Gotta make sure you attack with Fire Dog. Saber. I mean, with Soul Charge, any deck can OTK. Okay. What was it we needed? We wanted SP, right? We probably want Zombie Vampire. We probably want... Photon Lord. What was the other thing we need? Samurai Destroyer. Mechaba, shut up. Dragster, we already got it. Rekindling is not once per turn. The turn player takes 500 damage. My god. If you even ash this. Send the Smiger. Get the inclusion. Time to include. Yeah, you always get Solfador. Solfador, pop the inclusion. Summon. Send 2 cards. You. And you. Get Tristalos, I think. And then we just get another Tristaros. Make a Skeletus. Then we Tristaros. Summon these 2. Plus Tristaros. I gobble. Okay, I got 6, but that doesn't really help me. Three level 5s and make Paradise. Paradise. I could have made enough to OTK. I chose not to, because I want to see what I can do from here. Nothing really. So I can go into 5. This can only make machines, right? So that makes Rose or Amatrix. That makes Powered and Zectron, which I'm not playing. That makes the other thing. I could also just do this. And I summoned it for no reason. Okay, I'm tired of your shit. You can excel Synchron with Trist. No, because Trist is already level 2. So the lowest I could make would be 3, but it has to summon a Crystron, and there's no level 1 Crystron except a tuner. Excel is a level 5. What am I thinking of? Formula. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's real quick every machine synchro. So, Amatrix, but only if we have Turtle banished. Specifically level 6s. Yeah. So, Rion's probably not worth making anymore unless... Well... If we wanted to be really cheeky, chat. Okay, but we definitely still don't play Quan. Oh yeah, what's 7s? Yeah, it really just is Dawn Dragster. And everything else, and I guess this and everything else kind of sucks. Theoretically, we could make an 8. But there's no level 8 machine synchros that are actually doing anything. Yeah, are there any other better level 5s? Yeah, I'd throw that in there. These are 8s, right? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could have swore I had one of her. No, I'd need to craft one. Put that there for now. Wait, this is a Cybers. This is a machine. We'll just see if we ever get a chance to make it. Yeah, I always wonder what their original plan was with like the like, oh, you gotta get fire points so you can craft the fire stuff. It's fine, chat. This is full combo. Do you have Legatia? I don't yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to make one. Go, a Skeletus. Yeah, and we just add this back. Oh wait, no. Add Smiger back. Smiger was wrong because you don't get the trap yet, or trap anymore. Hold on. I ain't done. This is only once per turn. One Smiger effect, yeah. Hold up. Oh, you can use the follow. For some reason, like, this isn't a once per turn. Smiger would be busted if you use both its effects. Yeah. I think there's a way I could have done this. That gives me access to the level 9. I need to play a thing for it. I guess I could also play Navy Dragon Mech. Yeah, I'm trying to be cheeky and, like, figure out new plays. Like, there's gotta be something better I can do. Smiger's field effect is almost always a last resort, yeah. If I didn't put this in the main monster zone, I might also have a little bit better. I think that's game, right? Yeah. Maybe this would be better if I went back to, 1 second. Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega. I thought I was done with it, but it keeps rolling me back in. Oh boy. Urquaza sleeves, just what I always wanted. Okay. Surprise. Real quick, let me remember what my deck was. We are playing one turtle, playing 2 of that. Okay, I think I got all the Crystron cards. Except for Quan and Rion. And... oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Rosenix. Howard and Zektron. What's it called? Centurion. Get the Amatrix in here. Horus. I already have 3 of that. Okay. Can we make Phoenix? Yes. Rosenix is the one that's... yeah, it banishes all spell traps that your opponent controls and in their graveyard. I want to see how easily I can make it. But let's... no deck shuffling. Hand size is 1. Why isn't the thing showing up over here? That was the wrong button. There we go. Okay. Normal summon, Clockwork Knight. Banish Schmeiger, add inclusion. Add Sulfador. We've seen it a million times. Send those two. Grab, it could be the turtle. Yeah. Grab the turtle. Summon, destroy, activate, get Tristalos. Tristalos to make the skeleton. Skeleton add. One of the banished cards back, because we can't normal summon anyway. Then we Tristalos, blow up this, you two. Oh yeah, activate Tristalos. We needed to... no, we can't use both effects in the same turn. Summon back this. Makes us a little weaker to Nibiru. Go this into this. We activate. Oh, I thought I got a banished card back. Okay, so we didn't want to banish the Tristalos. When did we ban it? Oh, we banished it when we used its effect to get the 2. Got this in our hand. If we'd added something else... No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, okay. Try this again. Go this. Go this. We're always doing this part. We're always adding... Yeah, we're always adding Solfador, because that gets us 2 more. We could send the trap. No, we're always doing these 2, right? Yeah. Because then we're using this. We've already used Smiger, so we can't use that again. Get the turtle. I guess this could be a Rose Nyx, but it wouldn't do the same thing. Discard that. Get this out. Pop it. Use it. Bop it. You gotta make Tristaros. Target 1 Crystron in your graveyard and special summon it. Now we need to save that for that. Unless... We've already used... If it's banished, we've already used it. That's the problem. Okay. Get this out. Presortal. Destroy. Get... Citri. Then we use Citri in this to make that guy. We've already used the turtle, so we can't... Everything here we've used. It's the problem. It's like, we get this add back, but it doesn't do anything. Maybe if we started with inclusion, then we could normal summon whatever we add back. Maybe that should be the 1-card combo we're looking at. Oh, and now because Tristalos isn't in the graveyard. Wait, we can use Tristalos in this to make this. Now we Tristalos. Pop. We get these two. Skeletos goes. We get... Four, 5. We'd need a level 4, and we don't have a level 4. We need to play Rosenix for this to work. Or Citri should be Rion, but if Citri is Rion, the levels are off. I think. Actually, wait, this is a 9, right? Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, no, that does work fine. We just get Tristaros. And then we go into... Oh, but because we summoned from the deck, we're locked into just Synchro, so we can't make the Cyber Dragon Nova anymore. I see. They're not activating any effects. Fuck, I didn't consider that. You could special summon one Crystron, then immediately synchro summon using monsters you control, including that monster. Okay. Yeah, I keep trying to think if, like, there's some way I could navigate it so that I have, like, the ability to do the synchro toolbox on the opponent's turn. But it's just not looking like that'll work out. Whatever I summon off of this has to use its effects, so I can't get like a Citri or a Rion. XL Synchron can make Barone on the opponent's turn. Yeah, but we can make better stuff on the opponent's turn. If we just wanted to negate, we could go for different things. So many things we could do. Discount doing stuff warehouse. Except we're almost out of cards. Okay. One more thing I want to try real quick, chat. Phoenix is a level 9, yeah. What if I start with this instead? It's inclusion. The start always looks the same. Get this. Summon, pop, summon. We need to go for Tristaros. Tristaros has an important graveyard effect. We make a Skeletus. A Skeletus gets us. You're the best, Joe. Thank you, bad spoilers, Wolf. I appreciate the spoilers. Yeah, there's just not a good chance to get the things we want. We could give up Cyber Dragon Infinity, but I don't think that's worth it. It's just an Omni-Negate, chat. That's the problem. This brings back anything. I've already used this effect. I could use the trap, or I could use that. But then I have no way to get into the level 4 because I never searched the turtle. Omnis do stop Nib. They do. It's like, or we could get the trap, and the trap is just better in most cases. Or in every case. There is the old trap, and all that would do is summon back a level 3, which wouldn't help, because this locks us into that. Can't use that effect. Bring it back. Yeah, I just didn't have a chance to get another... I'm like so close, but my mind is just not able to think this many steps ahead. We usually send the trap with the level 5 and get it back with the synchro. It depends if you open with Smyger or not. If you don't, then use Smyger to search the trap. Yeah, like, that's good, but it's not what I want. It's not what I want, chat. Okay, I'm getting tired of this song. There we go. That's something a little different. Two-card combo. I know it's quite early, but how would you rate the complexity of this deck compared to others? So here's the thing. The modern version of the deck, actually not that complicated. Not nearly as complicated as Crystron's used to be. The problem is everyone's found a simple combo, and they just kind of do that. And obviously you can do other stuff. And I'm sitting here trying to think, like, how can I insert the complexity of old Crystrons into the new version? How can I make this better? Like, what if I already have a Crystron? Then I can get Solfefnir instead. Then I can pop this. Solfefnir pops itself, activates, and what if that was how I got Solfador? And then Solfador sends 2. I already have the Smyger, so I can send this and this. I need a way to get whatchamacallit on. So I do this. I grab Tristeros. I normal summon Tristeros. We do this. Tristeros gets me... I keep thinking this searches, but it doesn't. It gets one out of the graveyard or whatever. Sulfador can already be used in the graveyard, so I don't need to worry about that. I can't get that out. Can't use either of these effects, or else I turn them off for the rest, so it has to be the turtle, right? The turtle could also have been a Citri. Does that do what we want? Okay, so now Sulfador hasn't activated, so I can do that now. Then we get the Sulfador. And that means when we use the Tristeros to pop this, we don't have to get 2 level 5s. We can get this and like a Citri or a Rion. Get the Citri. Then this activates, gets us back the Tristeros. Now we're making Cyber Dragon Infinity up here. Does this summon one from my... It only summons one from my graveyard. So I actually needed to keep this into the grave. Instead of adding it back to my hand. But then that gives me much more flexibility. That's a 7, so she can make a 9. She could also make a 7. She could make a 4, and then that could... Okay. One more time, chat. This time with spirit. Okay. So as long as we open with any other Crystron, we could do it this way. It seems like a 2-card combo, but it's really just inclusion plus anything. Inclusion plus anything, get Smiger. Smiger discard whatever Crystron, summons it out, pops itself, activates, summons the Sulfador. Sulfador sends 2 to the graveyard. And we want to send this and the turtle. Yeah, the turtle. That was what we figured out before. We need the turtle in the graveyard. Then we can activate this. Gets Tristeros. We haven't normal summoned yet, so we normal summon the Tristeros. We make Skeleton. Spooky, scary skeletons. And then we just add back from the banished, because it doesn't matter. Then Tristeros pops this. That allows us to get these 2. Skeletos brings back Tristeros. Then Sulfador activates in the graveyard by popping this. We make Cyber Dragon. And then we could get something. Yeah, we get something else. We bring back this. And we banish Smiger to get the trap. I could still activate the turtle if I wanted to. Okay, so... We don't have a level 9 Synchro, do we? That we can just make normally? No, I could put one of those in. And I believe the level 9 was the Navy Dragon Mech, right? So Navy Dragon Mech would be a negate. Because if you don't know, this can grab something in the graveyard and synchro with it. So if we grab the level 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, we can make that. Alternatively, we could make Prezortal, and that makes 4, which gets us into Quandax. Quandax, the thing about the tuners, the Crystron ones, is they can only make machines, but they have an extra deck monster that is a machine and a tuner that can quick synchro with cards on the field and lets you make anything. Which means we can quick synchro into that, and then if Tristeros, we would need a 4 in the deck to make a 6. But then we could make a 6, and that's how we could make Rosenix. If we wanted to make Rosenix. I'm not sure if that's even worth it. But that basically means because we're ending on this, we have the ability to go into a couple things with Citri. Maybe instead of sending the turtle, we get this, but then all we're making is Amortrix, and Amortrix isn't really worth it. If we kept this in the graveyard and brought back this and added something else to our hand... There's just so many variables is the problem. And unfortunately, our opponent doesn't activate anything, so we can't really, like, do a whole lot. But, like, we bring back the turtle. Turtle goes here. We make this. And this can make another 9 with this. The thing is, Tristeros can summon anything from the deck and sync with it. So... what is, Stardust Warrior? Stardust Warrior requires... not even Stardust Warrior. Hold up. What does Cosmic Blazar take, chat? Two tuner synchros, damn. Yeah, Stardust Warrior is just a synchro and a non-tuner. So we could end up where, like, we use the guy, we make something, and then we have 2 synchros on board, so we can make some of the stuff that takes 2 synchros. I don't think anything is, like, worth it, though. Unfortunate. Maybe there's a way into this and I'm just not seeing it. I just really want to add the toolbox elements back into this deck, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it. What's it? Navy Dragon. Yeah, like the Quandax just doesn't seem able to do what we want. Would Cupid Pitch help? No. It's like, and do we want to play Rosenix just so we can make Horus is an engine? It is. Like, this is one of those cards that, like, against the decks it's good against, it's just, like, game-winning. But I don't think it's good enough to, like, make the whole deck around it. Tuner Synchro, non-tuner Synchro, banish all spell traps your opponent controls and in their graveyard. It might be good against Primite. Yeah. Can you get to it before they flip Floodgate? Yeah. If we're going second against, like, Floodgate Turbo or whatever, or Stun, and they're hoping to just, like, set a bunch of cards and then play on, like, my turn, and, like, flip up, like, Rivalry or whatever, we can summon Phoenix at the end of their main phase and just banish all the stuff. Yeah, Dragster's usually enough, and then it turns into a level 5, so it gets the other stuff. Is there a reason you're doing this build rather than Millennium? I think the Gold Sark, or the Horus stuff, is better going second than Millennium is, because it's a lot more difficult to stop, and also it lets us toss some of our cards into the graveyard so we can get searches. I've seen people play 2 Dragsters, yeah. It's just unfortunate. I was really hoping, like, maybe I can find the secret sauce to innovate. But they've just made the deck too good at doing the thing it does. Doom Dragon is pretty good going second. Yeah, if you can get to it. You have to do a lot to get there first, though. Oh, I don't have a second Dawn Dragster. For some reason, I'm like, yeah, I got 2 of those. No problem. Doom Dragon is just any one Millennium card? Is it? You can place this in your spell trap zone. You could summon it at a Millennium. Oh, you mean like it technically gets you to the combo, assuming it resolves. It's just like, yeah, if you can wedge you in the back row and pay the 2,000 and summon it out and get another card and put it in the back row and search the field spell and then take a card from your hand and put it in the back row. If you do all of those things, then you can get to Doom Dragon. Yeah, like it's one Millennium, but you have to go through a combo of getting like all of them and paying 4,000 life points. Granted, the life points aren't a huge deal. But like, you know, I'm steady and happy with this back row is pretty threatening as it is. Typhon? Yeah, probably Typhon. Oh yeah, that was the thing. I was gonna... Barone. I don't like the gamble. I feel like Horus is better going second. Horus is better going second, and it has more synergy with the Crystron since you want to dump them in the graveyard. I mean, we have the Millennium Engine, so we can always switch to it later. Yeah. Yeah, we've already got that, so we put you and the trap, because we started by using Smyger. I guess we get the turtle. Just gives us more options. Put a little Therion King Regulus in there, you know, just for fun. Get the trap back. Always forget this goes to... Make another one! Let's see, 7, no, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we want to do this. Sulfafnir is better than Sulfador in case of Raigeki. I will remember that in the future. I see. Yeah, we'll just stop that. They thinking. The Emperor. Tristaros. What up? Bomb planted. I've got so many banished cards. More Nibirus. Yeah, and this is where you would really want the, whatchamacallit, the, like, Chanbara. What is the best foolish burial? Probably Smyger. Smyger, because it gets inclusion, and inclusion does everything. Ding, 200 gems. You gotta get the gems, Bentley Bear. Alright, I was like, I'll start an hour early, and then I'll be done early, and then I can get to editing, and then I spent 40 minutes trying to figure out combos. But that's just how it is sometimes. It be like that sometimes. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, maybe to start out I should try to go pure. Take out the, take out the Horus engine and just play a whole bunch of, old Crystron stuff. I don't know if you can even make Barone at the moment. If I just, like, special summon I'm Seti, and then normal summon Tristalos, I can make Barone. Starting pure and gold sounds good. We'll see. I'm going to be testing this more. We'll be actually testing it against opponents next Tuesday. Tuesday is the testing stream. So if you wanted to duel me, if you wanted to let me see how Crystrons work in actual duels against non-AI opponents, that'll be when you can see it. For now, though, I'm going to call it for tonight. Thank you all for coming out here. Sorry we didn't get to Mirror Masters. I know that's so interesting to so many of you. The stream statistics go down whenever I play that. It's like, oh, I thought people would find that more interesting. We'll see. Maybe when I get it to the actual show and I'm not just like testing stuff. But either way, I'm excited to play Crystrons. Should be a neat thing. Should be fun. It's fine. I was brewing a deck myself. Nice. This is usually where I give my whole like spiel about stuff. I don't know. Most of you are already here. You know everything, right? Maybe instead I should say something surprising. Something lore. Slinky. No, you've seen the Slinky before. I'm like looking around my room as if like, am I gonna find something that's like utterly surprising the chat can't have seen before? Is there anything that's just like absolutely crazy? Pause and effect. A magical cat's mystery. Ah? What's that about? You'll never find out. That's just the way it goes. Critter's lady friend? Critter doesn't have a lady friend. Why are you so sad? Don't be sad. Those cats are gonna solve that murder mystery. I don't know your favorite color. I like green. That's why my logo is green, because I like green. Is Critter a lady? No, Critter's a fella. He agrees. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get going. We should raid someone though. It's always nice to raid someone. Any suggestions today, chat? Anyone have a friend who's trying to get their streamer career started, and they just happen to be streaming at the same time? And instead of watching your friend, you're here watching me? And you're like, hold up.